And we are live. Okay, we are back. Hello. So today we're going to continue with Keycloak integration into LangFlow. And hopefully we get to the CI/CD pipeline as well, so we can start building those containers and deploying them. And we do want to update those Docker containers. All right, so getting to it. Okay. So we, I was just fiddling with the bash scripts here, just making them a little bit more pretty. We'll get to them in a minute. Long minute. So getting into LangFlow again. So we integrated, we're integrating LangFlow with Keycloak for single sign-on, so we can manage users outside of LangFlow in Keycloak. So we have to add backend and frontend code, so React code and Python code, to be able to do the OpenID handshake or the OAuth handshake with the server, Keycloak server. We configured the Keycloak server with Terraform. Where's my Terraform window? Oh, my Keycloak window. There we go. So we do have our LangFlow client here, ready to go, configured, and we added a callback here so we can do local dev. Okay. And we have our front end running and our back end running. And one thing that I just looked up is the different endpoints that we have to hit, just for documentation, because I don't try not to keep these things in my head, but at least I have the doc straight from Keycloak website. So we did this one here. This is this gives you the login page, initiates the authentication process. Next, we have to hit this endpoint to get the token, and we might get some user info. And we also have to decode the token as well once we get it to get the roles, which we have added a role, a super role, into a client role. This one, admin. So if a user has this role, they'll be the super user. If not, they'll be just a regular user. And that's the only roles and permissions we have in LangFlow right now. There's a super user role. All right, so we have our GUI here, single sign-on. We click this button. It's supposed to go to Keycloak here, login page. Now, next thing is to, once we finish this, it's supposed to go back to our callback function and initiate the token process, getting the token, the access token. All right, so let's work on that next. All right, and I also have next OAuth on the screen because it's a good reference. It's a good library. It's a mature library. We also have Keycloak support here, Keycloak provider somewhere, I think in the core. There isn't much useful information on the Keycloak provider side because it just extends the OAuth class, but we can use it as, this is good reference for us. So where's Keycloak here? They do have Keycloak. They pretty much support everything here out of the box. So there's the Keycloak one. Yeah. So it's all kind of encapsulated in this OAuth config. Yeah, so this subclass doesn't do much. It's all in the super class. Anyways, it's still good reference. We're going to use it now. I was about to have a second peek at the CSRF cross-site forgery attacks, whatever the acronym stands for, to create a random key. And I think I'll start doing that first. So I'm not going to use this this function because this is a TypeScript that happens in the backend. We won't do this in the front end client. So I'm just going to use this as a reference and see if we can create a token or random variable, random value. So then we can support the CSRF protection. And looking at the OpenID doc, I see that's what the state is used for the CSRF. Okay, cross-site request forgery. I think that's what it means. Okay, and the other thing we might want to do is maybe nonce, this one here. So this is another random token we can add. This is to prevent replay attacks. So, you know, refreshing or replaying the same sequence. Yeah, it says mitigate replay attacks right here. So we'll add both of these things right now, just to get going, to get our feet wet, I suppose we can say that. All right. So let's see what we have here. So this is the React hook that was created for us by Claude, and Claude added this. Let me just a little bit bigger. So Claude added this thing here. This is the CRF protection and added to local storage. So I'm not happy with this random function here first, and then I don't want to put this in local storage. So local storage is good if you want to share things between tabs. In this case, for security, we should put this in session storage. And after that, where else? Yeah, we pull it out of the local storage here, and then we check it. Okay, so let's do that first, and then just add one more variable here, the nonce. Is that how you say it? Nonce, nuance, nonce? I think it's nonce. All right, let's do both of these things for security. All right, so we want to use a different function here. And in fact, let's make this a function for testing purposes. So let me look at the chat here for a second. See if we're good to go, if we are live. Sweet. All right. Looks like we're up and running. Okay, so we need to deal with some of the security issues first, and then we'll get back to the backend, try to finish the backend code, and then start working on the containers or fixing the containers. I do want to fix them because they annoy me a bit. Sorry, LangFlow. From a Kubernetes point of view, they're not the greatest. They're tremendous. All right, so let's do this. So first thing, looking at the JavaScript libs, we can use Windows crypto. So let's do that. And let's create a function for this for testing. So let's sprout a little function here, call it constant generate what do I want to call it? Random string. So we use it both times, random string. And in this case, we got to use the arrow notation, which everybody hates, but everybody uses. Okay, and in this case, I'm going to return just a very simple function that will make it a little bit better after. So on return Windows or window.crypto, crypto, and let's get random values. Yeah, get random values, and What should be the size of this little string here? It doesn't matter. I don't see any. Where's the thingy? Where's the doc again? Just want to make sure if there's any limitations here. So I guess on the screen here. So this one doesn't have any limits on it. Well, it just has to be an opaque value. And this one doesn't say either if there's a limit on this. Nope. And section. Nope. I don't see any limits on the size of it. Okay. Well, we don't make it too large. Okay. Let's move this to the side. The doc. All right. So I don't want to make this configurable either. So we'll just make it like 16. It's something that is 8 characters is usually good enough for any kind of hacking purposes. And in this case, 8 might be too much. But I guess we can over deliver and yeah, let's make it like 16. Doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah. All right. So let's make it let's make a new uint. Yeah, uint. So I'll use this class or this type. And hold on, let me click into it and just double check here. This one takes in, yeah, array buffer. Right, so it's an array. Let's go in here quickly. Look at the doc. Yeah, okay. So that's the right class to use. All right, going back. So we can use 16-bit or 32-bit as they have in the doc. And for compatibility purposes, so I always like to check compatibility in browsers before I do anything. Now it looks like it's fully compatible. I mean, yeah, okay. And in their example, they use the 32-bit int array. Yeah, we can use 16. Yeah, where's the 16 here? 16. Yeah, this one here. And support, and it's widely supported as well. That's one thing I have to kind of always check when it comes to coding in the front end, especially some of these more esoteric classes that are not often used. Like most people don't use, unsigned int, arrays. Just use it for security purposes. Anyways, let's move the doc to the side so I have a reference of it. Okay, so yeah, so this one takes in an array and just do one. Let's get the value from this. So first one, and then we're just going to convert this to a string, and let's 16. Yeah. All right, sweet. Okay, so this is our little function here, and then we'll come back here, and for the state, we'll just use the function here. Okay, and let's do one more for the nonce, nonce, N-O-N-C-E, nonce. Let's do again, so we get 2 of these. And the next thing is, like I said, the local storage. I don't like to use local storage, so we're going to use session storage. Where's local storage defined? Right. All right. Session storage, set item. And session storage is going to be a new one. Oh, it's going to be a new one. It's going to be state, not state by nonce. All right. So local storage goes away. So that is one thing. Let's append the here to the search parameters. Let's append. I think it's called nonce as well, right? Yeah. So that's the actually little query parameter here. All right. So we have both of them. That's on the client side. So that should make a difference right now when you open the login page. So really what matters is when you come back and you want to inspect both of these numbers. So we will inspect the state in the front end and nonce in the back end, because that's going to be on the GWT token, I think. So yeah, we need to update this callback. Get off from URL. What is this? Right, it gets the code. Okay. So this is where we have a bit of a problem here. So storage is not going in storage. Local storage is in session storage. So we're going to get it from session storage. And yeah, so we'll grab the URL parameters. We'll get the state. And then let's update this. Store, no, it's still the same. Doesn't change much. Still the same. Yeah, still the same. Okay. So we need to get the code and return state. So okay, so there we go. So that's our little check here. The random number that we sent out has to come back and we compare against it. That's our little check here. That didn't come from a different website. Where else? That's if it did, go back to login, and then if it's good, then we're going to go hit the callback on the back end with the code. And what else? Now we need to get the nonce number from something. So the nonce number is, let me see how they did it in NextOauth. I think where is it? I think they just decode the token, as I recall. At least that's what it should be. Let's see what these guys did. So they're here to check it in the cookie. Well, it is stored on the cookie because it's in a token, so you have to decompose the token. But in this case, hold on, let me see what they do here. So they check for the state and the nonce here at the same time. All right, they push this after the provider checks. All right. So their assumption is that the provider will know what to do with it. Wait, there's the decode here. Okay, so payload decode. Okay. So we can, I think we should follow what they did because this is a mature library, and replicate some of this stuff. Yep. All right. So I'm just going to put some pseudocode down first and then see if it makes sense. So right here, when we here, when we exchange the token, once we have the token, in the response, we should get the token. Hold on, should we do this here or on the backend? Let's put the pseudocode in here, for example, for the okay. So the idea would be to unpack the token first. So let's do constant ID token. So it'll be your token, and then once you have the token, it should come from response. Response.data that that'll be the ID token, right? Not the access token. So I would expect this to be the ID token, not the access token. So the ID token. So let me put my expectation on first and then see if we can make this happen. So an ID token first, and then once you have the ID token, you can check if the token, if it exists, then we need to decode it. That require decoding libraries. So I don't want to decode the token on this on the client side this way. I'd rather do on the backend. Okay, but let me finish that code here. So I'm just going to write the code, and then let's see if it makes sense from security point of view. Decode. This would be the decoded token, and then we're going to have to use some sort of library, some GWT token library to decode. Don't have that yet. The ID token. And then once we have the token, then we can look at the knowns in the token, right? So it says it should be on the token after. All right, so it will be something like if the decode token, if it does not have dot knowns, or we need to compare to the stored one. So here we would pull this out again, constant stored. Nonce, not once. Nonce. Session storage. Get item. And what I call it nonce. So it should be something like that, and then we can just compare it here as we did above. So if it's not equal to, so if this does not equal to this thing here, that should be part of the token. Then we just throw back the exception and not really exception, to just log it and then go back to login page. Something like that. All right, so that's the pseudocode. Yeah, and then continues as it does. Oh, yeah, we need to remove this. So let's remove from session storage. And then we will remove the other key from session storage as well. Just nice to do cleanup. All right, so that's all for the React code. Now, I'm not sure if I like doing this here. Well, they do have to decode the token here on login, so there should be a GWT decode function somewhere here. Let me actually find the library they're using here on the front end. Alpha search. Yeah. They don't use one? What? Yeah, I don't see. And there's always a problem decoding your token on the client side, because then you have to provide enough information to the client to decode it, which means anybody can grab that and decode it themselves. Like, it's not really a bad thing, but if you can just on the back end, you should probably do it on the back end. So while I can probably add the what's the library? Let's go to npm modules here. So GW, so we can probably grab one here. Decode. See, this one's for decoding. Oh, there we go. gwt.decode. So we can grab this library here. Yeah, so yeah, something like that, right? So you can just decode it, have it here. We just add it to the React application, package JSON, and Bob's your uncle works, right? Now, do we really need to do this? That's the thing. Is so, this in security, you always kind of figure out, first thing is if you should do it before you do it. Now we can do it, but should we do it? Should we just decode this token here and then look inside the token and see if it has the right random key? Oh boy. Yeah, I don't feel like doing that right now. It just opens up a few security issues that we really don't need right now. You know what? So I'm gonna skip the nonce for now for the replayed security. I'll come back to it, and let me just comment this out here quickly. So we don't. So I'll just keep it as a pseudocode for now. Just toggle the comments here, and get this out of here. All right. So for now, I'm just gonna comment it out and then come back to it. And once I have the full workflow running, then I'll probably see if I can put this in the backend in Python versus having in a TypeScript here, and be able to deal with this process here, generation process here. So we can always generate on the backend, bring it to the front end, and then it just creates problems. Okay. Moving on. Okay, so that's that. So that's going to give us a state. Let's see actually if the state is rendered now properly as a query parameter. So let's refresh this. And let's grab this and let's just see what's happening here in this URL. All right, so that's correct. We have the client ID here. We have the redirect response type as code. We have the scopes, and there's the state. Beautiful. Okay. Okay. Maybe we should make it a little bit bigger, the state. Well, first I need to add some comments there, but let me see let me make it a little bit bigger. Let's just let's increase the size of Okay. All right, let's increase the size and put some comments here. Let me look at the standards that they're following here in their function. So we add the same comments as they do. We have to start documenting things as well. Well, they don't. All right. They don't put comments in their code. Okay. So I will. Let's add some comments. Yeah, boy. Okay. So first of all, we want to make this a little bit bigger. So let's increase this to 4. 4. Yeah, if we increase it to, okay, you know what? Let's break this into 2 pieces so we can easy configure this. So let's make the constant array here. It says easy configurable. So in this case, let's use the unit u unsigned int. Let's make it 32 so we can make it a little bit bigger. So 32-bit times 4, so 128-bit. So 128 bits, so make it 4, so be 128 bits of entropy here. So let's put a comment here. So we're going to make this. I'm confusing the Python comments with TypeScript comments, so it's not the pound here. That's Python. All right, so let's just go to TypeScript comments. So in this case, you can go 4 times 32. It's a 30 bits, so that equals to 128 bit. This be we can call this entropy for the random string. Okay, and we're gonna pass this here, so then we can easily configure it once it's as a here standalone variable. Pass this in here, and we can control. We can use array from because it's an array. So you know what? Let's split this up into 2 things. This is going to be our so looking at the function, it will set the array, right? So it will set the array here. Just looking at the Mozilla docs there, and we can use then from array, so we can return array, and we can go from, and then just mess with that array. So in this case, we have the array that should now have the random values. Let's put some comments here. So this thing is going to fill the array with random values. And now here we're going to go array from array, and now we can just grab the string from here and maybe add some padding as well. I'll put this in a breakpoint in a second so I can play around with the numbers, but I'll just put something basic here. So we want to return a number, so this has to go and be num. So let's call this num, and we're going to go num to string, that to string. And last time we got what? We got the 16 radix 16, so cool. For hex. And now we can mess with the number a bit more. Let's make it we can add padding to this number. And you know what? Let me add padding. I want to see how it looks. Yeah. Let's pad this on here. No, we're going to pad it here on the string. We're going to pad start and what's the thing is max length. So we can set the max length here and then we can fill. So let's make this 8 is usually a good number when it comes to random numbers. So usually when it comes to get hash, I get the first 8 numbers. You can mathematically show that that's enough, especially for collisions, right? So for get I'll fill it with zeros. So for collisions, so usually what we do is we take the get hash and we get the first 8 characters and we use it as their Docker image tag. So then we can have mutable image tags. That's how kind of get around the problem of immutable Docker tags. We want to make it immutable. And 8 is usually good enough. So if you look at any of these hashes here, so if you look at here you go, source tree. So here you go. See the commit hash? It's much longer, but usually don't show the whole thing. So even here, how many they do? 2, 4, 6, 7. Is that? Yeah. So they have 7 numbers here they show. Obviously the number is much longer than this. This hash number, you can see it's right here. The commit hash is pretty long, right? And we use this random number or this commit hash as a Docker tag, and we just use 8. So usually for anything when it comes to security, I usually tend to use 8 as my go-to number. Okay. So that'll be that. Now, where's the doc? I want to join it, right? So I want to join the array to. Let me join the array. So I'm gonna join this on empty. Okay, sweet. So that's going to give us a hex string that we can attach. Now let me put some comments in here. Generates crypto. Is there a spell check enable? Crypto. I spell cryptographically. Crypto graphically secure random string. All right. Returns. I'm going to just say hexadecimal string. All right. I'm just going to add here used for, we want to use it for CSRF and nonce. Nonce strings for OAuth flow. OAuth flow. Okay, cool. Try to make it a little more professional. Okay. Sweet. And let me go back to the browser. Just double check what happens here. Actually, you know what? Let me put I was going to put a breakpoint there, but I don't have to. Let me just look at the. All right, so that's much better. So here's okay. So that's more reasonable. Okay. So if I go back so there you go. So this is what generated. That's code. That's really good. Okay, I'm happy with that. Sweet. All right. All right, so that's good to go. All right. Now the next thing is the backend. What's this? Close. That's the URL. Close that. Don't save. All right. So login page. Oh, login page is showing up. Once we fill in the credentials there, or use the Google authentication, it's going to come back to the callback. So the callback here. Let's deal with the callback now. Now, I don't like this frontend URL because it's always the same. It's also, it's hard coded here, but this is the React route. So let's make this a property. So this should be a property. So not from the URL. Let's change this. So let's just go back and create a redirect URL. Oh, not create it, but just use it as redirect URL versus front end, and then we need to compose this. That doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so let's go back here, OAuth settings. So we're going to change our variable front URL to redirect. Is it redirect? Oh, yeah. Redirect URI. Okay. I'm just going to say URI used for redirects. Okay. No, I'm not going to derive from request. It has to be provided. All right. So if you change this, now let's go into that env file. The example that we're maintaining, change it here. Okay. URI. Sweet. And then we need to set it in our .env file. So in here, I'm just going to provide the, the route that we have in React Router for the Keycloak callback / callback. Let's double check the router because it comes back here. Yeah, that goes right here. So it comes back to the front application. There's a callback from a Keycloak comes back, and then it does the handshake here. So yeah, so we're just gonna make sure it's the same. Okay, cool. All right, so that's much better. So we don't have to compose the string. Plus, we know about the strings from the developers. The backend don't know, so that doesn't make sense to hardcode the URI or this path here in code. Just provide it. Okay, so that's good. So going back here, this is now just OAuth settings, Keycloak, redirect URI. This front end, this can go away. This can go away as well. So that just makes the code much simpler. Not that much simpler, but a little bit simpler. Okay. So what else we have to change in Python here? Here. So the redirect URI, again, just comes from the redirect URI. And it just, you can just pass it like so. All right, so that's a little bit simpler as well. All right. Let's see if the backend has any problems now. It seemed to compile. All right, so let's look at the front end now. We should have a different payload coming back from the backend initially when we initiate the configuration or the authentication process. Ooh, validation error. Okay. Should be a valid string. All right, so let's just restart the backend. So it picks up where's the backend here? I'm just going to restart the backend Python application. Yeah, we changed the .env file and it needs to reload into memory. Okay, so if that is good to go, going back here, we should have new payload come back with the redirect URI. That's taking a while. What's happening? Oh, the frontend crashed on us because the backend was off. Okay. All right. This config. Okay, so there's our redirect. Okay, so it's good. So we enable, we have the server URL, we have the realm, client ID, good to go. Okay. So when we click this, we should go into, this always has a problem. Okay. Sweet. So now if we log in with our Google credentials into LangFlow, we should, okay, there was a bit of a problem, I see. But the workflow is getting there slowly. All right. So let's look at the callback. So the config is fine. Now, once we click the login, it comes in here, calls the callback. So goes back to the React callback. The React callback calls this callback. I should probably change different names here. So it comes back and make this request to the backend callback with the parameter code. Now the parameter code here, yeah, we need just the code. Let's maybe look at the documentation again, just to double check. So when it comes to here, token, for the token endpoint, we need the authorization code, okay? And or by supplying direct credentials. So we're not going to supply direct credentials, user credentials, but we'll supply the code. Let's look at the documentation quickly here. So for the token request, they do what? Let me just make this a little bigger. Just open a new window, okay. All right, so we have to provide the bearer token, yeah, and we have to specify the grant code and provide the code, and that's set. So we don't need to provide the client ID, client secret, do we? We should. All right, so yeah, so we have to provide the client ID. All right. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Section 9, right. We need to specify the client ID and client secret. Yeah. Okay, let's move this to the side. So the backend has the client ID, client secret. The frontend just provides the code that came back from the login page. So we're going to make an assumption that that's all we need right now, the code. So going back here for the callback, let's see. Yeah, check if it's enabled. And then once it is enabled, we get the code, which is just should be here in our request. Yeah, this feels off the arrangement of these variables here, but let's assume this is correct for now. So we're going to get the code in here, and we need the DB. This is going to be to create the user. All right, let's see. So let's see, what do we have here? All right, so first we got to check this thing, get token. And it's on the Keycloak service. So the Keycloak service should already have the correct, where's get service here? Right. So go back. The Keycloak factory should set the Keycloak service, which sets the Keycloak OpenID client, which already has the client ID and the client secret on it, which is coming from the backend. Okay. All right, that's good. So now we just have to look at the token method here and see what happens here. So get token is enabled. What is this enabled? It's enabled. Okay. And where's the client? Client is the OpenID client. Good. So we're good. So now, so that should work. And in that handshake that we just did a second ago, let's see if well, there's any errors here. No, I didn't see any errors. Okay, so this should mean that we do have the token. Okay, so let's just go back and I'm going to initiate the handshake. Let's see if there's any bugs in here because it didn't work the first time, but I wasn't paying attention to the feedback coming back from the from Keycloak. All right, so let's inspect this and let's look at the network tab. Let's clear everything. Why isn't Safari happy with redirecting and having the inspect window open at the same time? Let me try this in Chrome. Because Safari is annoying me. Let's preserve the logs and let's see if this works now. All right, we come here. Let's look at all these requests. We go to Google, and then we come back, and what happened? Let's see if there's an error here. Invalid refresh token. So it's not supposed to go to refresh token. Yeah, it's calling API refresh. Okay. All right, so we just have to return the LangFlow token. Right now, we're not doing that. What about this? Refresh, okay. And it calls the logout after. All right, I think I'm gonna stay in Chrome. I don't know why Safari is not allowing us to redirect to our Keycloak page. Could be just a content policy that we have set on the ingress. But right now, it doesn't really matter. So let's move this to the side. And move this to the side as well. Oh, yeah. Now, where is the log level here? Because I like to see these logs. That's one thing we have to fix, because the Docker logs were really bad when we looked at them in Kubernetes. So that's one of the things we have to fix about some of the container stuff. Okay. Now, I do like to run this in with a breakpoint. So let me stop this and launch this with a breakpoint so I can debug the backend and see what's happening here when it comes and gets the token. See if there's anything that is happening here. Anyway, so I like to put a breakpoint right here. And let's see, we need to start this with, look at the launch JSON here. All right, it already set this up. Nice. Okay, so I need to just kick this off. Debug front, debug. Okay, so let's stop this. And let's stop this front end as well. So they say here that we can get this going with this this launch. Yeah, it gets the, what's the env? Okay, it gets the env as well file. Okay. So I want to start debugging, run, and okay. Sweet. And let's kick off the front end as well. So now, if I go back to my Chrome, what's my Chrome? And I want to initiate this process. Yeah, that's the one, the first one. Okay. Well, this is not connecting. Oh, this is a different port. Which port is this? 80? No, it's the same port. Why isn't the front connecting to the debug? Let's see. That's the right port. Connection refused. Why is the connection refused? Is there any special thing we need to set up for debugging? I don't see it. No, it should be good. I don't see why why the front is not starting right now. Let's try this again. That's strange. The proxy is not working once we are in debug mode. I don't see why not. It's still the same port that gets opened. Let's stop this for a second. Okay, let me start this debugger again, see what's happening here. So it is the debug backend. That's the name of this launch. And it has the right properties here, source. So it has the right port. Guess the ENV as well. So what's your problem? Let's run this again. Why isn't it starting now? What's your problem? What? Why is this a bug in Cursor? What the hell? Oh no, it's working. Yeah, so it is a bug in Cursor. The button didn't work the first time. Okay, let's see this again. So, well, let's see if it's actually running on that port. Let's look at the fast API docs, localhost. There's something wrong with this launcher. Let me look at this again. I'm assuming it's correct since that's the way it was pushed to the branch. That's a bit strange. I think I'm going to try this in VS Code in a second because this is a bit silly. I don't know why this is not working. It's running the same command as the make command, but the launcher is not starting the server. We should at least see some arrows here, some output here. Are they missing something here? Let's compare this to the make command. Maybe they made a mistake. All right, so let's stop this. Okay, so this is what we want to run. This one here. Let's see. So it runs install backend first, sure. Let's look at the arguments. The arguments are pretty much the same. Port. Oh, they don't post. Okay, they don't set the host here. So let's set the host. See, that makes a difference. What is this? CD workspace. It feels like there's something wrong with this command. Like I see the server's not running. Okay, where else it's could be potentially messed up here. So we have the reload enabled. We have the debug enable, reload include, sure. Source. Do we need the source? The argument, we don't need the source. Reload included. Okay. Sure, that'll be on the reload. What else do we need? The env file is set here. We set the debug here. So I don't see why this is not starting. And it does run the install before, make install backend. You know what? It's a bit of a problem. It'd be nice to debug this. Why isn't this freaking running? Suppose I can run it in my own debug mode and then attach the debugger after, but that's the whole point of a launcher. Anything else beside the host? No? Now, let me ask Claude if he sees the problem here. Maybe that's the best way to go about this. Where's my buddy, Claude? Come on, Claude, speak to me. Let's see if Claude has any ideas about this configuration, because it looks good to me. Oh, okay. It's making suggestions how to fix this. Interesting. It changed the path. So I added this thing here. And what else did it do? It added Python path as well. Huh, interesting. Anything else? Ah, okay. Yeah, let's stop both of these things here. So let's clean this up. And then run it again. Just run it. Claude seems to think we need to update the paths here just to get this going. I do agree that the paths look a little bit off, but why would the LangFlow people have this like that? I'm assuming it works for them. Why would they push it to the Git? Oh, Claude. Still not running, Claude. Where is it getting the env file from? Workspace folder. That's correct. So the file does exist because we're using it right now for running from terminal. Let's see if Claude can update it for me. Yeah, Claude is not happy either about this configuration. I still don't see why this is broken. It's exactly the same thing we're running from the command line, and when we do run it from cursor, it's just not working. That's a bit strange. I mean, usually when things like that happen, it's usually the path or something like that, Python path or some weird configuration that's off. But if this doesn't work, we can just put some debug outputs and into the logger just to see. Cloud is not having a good time. It's trying to check the Python installation. So it could be just because of how we're running this with dev container that it's just not picking it up. Oh, he wants to change that. Cloud is not happy with the launch. Jason's going to change it. Okay, where else did you change Cloud? Oh boy. That could work. All right, let's see. That could work. Let's close this. Well, that's much better. So yeah, Cloud is doing some good stuff here. Now, I didn't expect the debugger to stop here. So this tells me that it did not did pip install probably or UV install because these libraries should already exist. Okay, so back to launch. Stop this debugger. So the only thing I see is this thing here, console integrate terminal that was added. So you know what? I'll roll back the changes. Let's reset the changes. Let's see. Cloud went a little bit too cray for me. So what I want to do is just have the same thing that was there before, except for I want to add console integrate terminal, this one here, just add one variable. So just reset this. Let's see if there's anything else change. Claude did go a little bit cray. Start changing a lot of different things. What is this? Why did Claude change this file? Start a project search engine. Okay, you know what? Let's we don't need to change this at all, this JSON. So reset this. Where else did Claude change? That's fine. Schema's fine. What's happening here? What is this? This is the model for the user. Include, we're going to keep this because this is for soft deletes. That's fine. That's all the Keycloak stuff. Settings, good. And it's just the front. Okay. All right, so not big changes from Claude. Just one weird file got changed. Now here, what I'm going to do is just add this. Integrate terminal. The rest is the same as it was. This is really annoying. Let's stop this. I'm gonna have to figure this out later, why this launch configuration is not starting. In the meantime, what I can do is just add a debug to my output there just to see. Be nice to put a breakpoint there, damn it. I'm starting to think that this cursor extension here for debug is busted here. You know what? I'm going to try this in VS Code. Okay, let's look at the debug options here. All right. Yeah. You don't have to download everything now. It's been a while since I opened VS Code. Go away. All right, so I want to just see if this will run. Yeah, this one starts right away. Damn it. All right. Looks like there might be a cursor issue, but let's just confirm. So this just kicked off right away. It just detected that this was already running in cursor. Cursor. Okay. No, the port is not running. Okay. All right. Going back to cursor. Let's just use the same tool. All right. See, this runs right away. It just goes into the watcher, starts watching directories, and it just never kicks off. It just gets stuck here in cursor, the launcher. So this might be a problem with the debugger in cursor. Let's see if there's any updates to the extensions. No, we're up to date with all these extensions. Okay. All right, let's see what we can do here. You know what? I'm just gonna adjust the log level to debug right now on the make file, so it's always running in with debug. Should be part of the env files, but I'll just throw it here on the. So I always like to have it in debug when I'm actually developing. All right. What else? And the other thing I want to add is, I guess we can enable, this log level debug here. Isn't that the same thing as this log level? Are those two variables the same? I don't know why they have both. It's the same thing. All right, let's just run it with debug for now and just get some debug output. We'll fix the launcher later so we can run it with the debug. If not, we can always run it from a command line with debug. Wait, where is my property right now? Go back to make quickly. Did I out in the right place? Hold on a second. Where is it? Why is it running? Hold on. Did I mess this up for a second? Give me a second here. It's not capital F, is it? Hold on, let me make this bigger. There's something missing here. So this if def is not working. Where's this login coming from? So here we need to provide a property. Just turn this off. Okay, let's see, run backend here. Let me just double check if there's any issues we have here with. Yeah, I want to run this branch here. So, and I want this to be loading the env file, but I want this to be set to false. So if I say login is empty, Yeah, it's running. Okay. What? So I can set it's empty. So if it's empty, it will go to second. If not, it will, okay, cool. Well, that was painful. All right. So what else? Okay. So now going back to the front end. Let's keep with the front end and let's do this in Chrome. All right, so we have our Swagger RESTful API coming from the backend, and we also have our front end now, should be good to go as well. Server is busy. Why is it busy? Seems to be good to go. Why is this busy? Come on. It's up and running right now. Shouldn't be busy. Hello? It's not busy at all. Come on. What the hell? Is this just stuck? What's going on? All right, so we need the login page in here. Okay, so yeah, let me restart my backend again. Right, so I do want the login page, but I want this login page to be set to false. Now, is this Python or is this not Python? Because if it is Python, then I want to set this to false like this. And then it should be set to false. Also, I want to stop this. I want to put the log debug on this one here as well. For both, always have debug on. Okay. All right, let's run this again. Going back to Chrome. So if I restart this, it should come back with a login page. Start this part. All right, backend is up and running. Now the front end, we try. Yeah, front end seems to die every time the backend is turned off. Does it take that long to compile the React application? Is that what the issue is? We need some outputs here as well, just to show the progress of Beat. This is becoming silly. All right. Well, that server busy check might have some issues. We're not going to debug that part. Okay, so now I want to kill VS Code for now, so I don't get confused with cursor. All right, so going back here. So I need to put some debug statements here in the Keycloak service, backend service, just to see what's happening here. since my debug's not working. So we are going to go here and then to the token. So let's just I'm just going to log that's not what I want, course. So what happened here? I just want to see if the code is going to be there in the backend to output. All right, so let's go to the handshake. Okay, let's see. Look at the log. Right, it's not getting to that part. Damn it, I need that breakpoint. All right. Let's look at the logs. Well, I don't see the logs. Let's see if Log Guru is the one that we actually use all over the place. Let's. We haven't actually checked what is the logging setup here for the Python. Oh, they don't have a logger. No, just checking the backend. All right, so let's just see. Let's look at the logger config here. So we're going into, they have their own logger here. All right, so we got to use this one here. Okay. But they also use Log Guru here. What? Is this the my code? No, that's LangFlow here. So let's just double check here. Do they have two different loggers that they configure? Oh boy. Okay, so they define logger here, and they configure logger here. And where is it used? All right. And this is log. Right. Log guru. Okay, so I guess we just have to add this configure part here for logging. Let's just see the configure. Do we have to add this all the time? What's in here? Well, that's the log level that we just set. Now, has to also be an environment variable. Okay, that's why I guess they have it in both places. All right, so a bit strange, but let's do both. Let's enable, let's set the log level, the env file to debug. Okay. Is it capital, lowercase? Let's see here. It's lowercase. Okay, it's all lowercase. All right. I'm just going to remove some of these files here that we don't need to see. All right, so this is one thing they also expect. So let's just restart at the back end. And restart the front end as well, since it kills the front end, we'll restart the back end. All right, so multiple things have to be true. And what about this logger here? We also have a logger here on, so they import this log. Okay, so we can do the same thing just to be consistent. It's just a bit weird the way the logger is done. Bit weird. Okay, not gonna lie. And they converted to uppercase here. Okay, so yeah, it's lowercase, sure. Okay. And they set up the UV coin and G. Oh, okay, loggers here for the server. Oh boy, feels like everybody's reinventing the wheel, doing the same thing, but everybody does the loggers so differently, which is a bit weird. So in our case, I'm just going to grab this. It feels like that's, yeah, they do it the same thing in all classes. So going back to our logger, so I'll do that and remove this logger. Okay. Don't know why I got run configure each time. Is that what they do? That would be really inefficient. Let me just look at, for example, any service class. I don't know, OAuth or chat, whatever. There should be some logs here in the service. There's no outputs here, no logs. Well, that's been annoying. Well, when the cache, there's any logging here? Do you not have logs anywhere? What the bloody hell? Don't you want to have logs somewhere? There's, okay, so they use log guru here. Okay, I don't know why we need to have a configure for each. You don't. You need to, oh, there's a log debug. Okay, so yeah, let me get back to this here. So this should be a singleton, right? So you need to just define it once, not multiple places. So yeah, all right. And I'm just going to put a debug here just to say hello, just to see if testing logger. All right. So we should just need to refresh this page. Oh, okay. Frontend is dead because of the backend. Nope, still good. Still good. All right. All right, so when this comes in, we should see my log message here. Okay, that's a bit strange. Where's my log message? They're not pumping this to the UVcorn server. I should see my logs in here. Bit annoying. All right, so the debug is not working and the logs are not configured. Lovely. Okay, let's have a look at the logs here. Oh boy. Right. Here, what does this configure do? If that is the log format, I don't see it at all, even though it's enabled. That's a bit strange. Okay, so the log format is definitely not there, so it's not running. Where else do we need to have here enabled? Just LangFlow log level, and why is it disabled? So disable the logger if it's false, log level is known, and log file is known. Okay, and enable it if we have the and log level is known. Oh wait, so we can set both? Well, that's a bit messed up. So we can set the log level and the environment variable at the same time. And if you have set to known equals, that's weird. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? And we do have that env, don't we? Yeah. So what is the problem? We see that the lifespan gets executed when fast API starts, and they kick it off with just async flag equals to true, which means they're expecting all these variables to be known. They set this to true, so it's going to skip this part. Disable, false, yes, it's all false. It should come in here and set the log level from the variable, which we have. Just keep ups to up. And what is our log levels? Debug, so we do have debug, right? You didn't misspell anything, debug, right? So that's a bit annoying. What else do we have in here that needs to be looked at for the logs to be enabled? Yeah, it is none because they call it without any variables. That's the default value. So we should be in this branch here. So that should be set to debug. And if it's debug, log file is known, sure. We didn't provide the log file. Log environment container. No, it's not container. No, it should be here. It should get the format. Well, it's expecting the log format here. If it's not set, it will just use the default one, which is from the top. Okay, and it should just work at this point. It configures the logger. Now we should see the output here, this output logger set up with log level. We should see that when the server starts. But we don't see that. Let's look at the make file. Let's see if the make file disables the logs for some weird reason. So we added this log level debug. Let me just remove this. Yeah, I'm not seeing the output from the logs here at all, which is a bit strange. Let me look at any other variables that we need to enable here. Oh, this is log level. And oh, bloody hell, hold on. It should be log level, not environment. Maybe just a spelling mistake. Oh, there we go. There's the logs finally. Okay, well, that was painful. Just me making usual spelling mistakes. Sweet. Okay, so we have the log. All right, and we have, okay, debug. Okay, cool. All right, let's see if we can figure out what's happening with the Keycloak or the OAuth handshake. Go away. All right. So first of all, I should see my outputs there quickly, my test outputs. There we go. There's my hello Keycloak. Okay, cool. So so we got it working. So we'll have to do it the old-fashioned way if we don't have debug working or debugger. I don't want to spend time fiddling with the launcher right now, since it looks like some weird issue with the launcher. Okay, let's close this. Close this. This as well. We just need to look at the essential, and I'm going to close this as well. These are just our URLs that we don't need to look at right now from Keycloak. All right, let's remove some of these. All right, so what I'm expecting here is to see an output here. I want to see if it comes here to our callback method and starts processing the token. That's what I need to see. Right, right. So we might have a problem here. Okay. So it's not calling the Keycloak callback for whatever reason. I wonder if it's a configuration issue. No, we have a full path here. That looks okay. Let me put a breakpoint in the browser. I'm just kind of curious about the variables that are passed in here. So we can put a breakpoint in the React hook here, Keycloak Hook. What are two files here? Oh, it's really from source. Okay, so if I put a breakpoint here, and I'm gonna put a breakpoint here. Okay. And a breakpoint here. All right, so when I initiate this sign-on, I should come in here. Let's just see if the variables are okay. Realm, ops, server URL. All right, so these are good variables. Step over this. Here's our state, nice. Okay, so that should let it go to the next page, which is the Keycloak page. Now comes back here. So there you go. So handle the callback here. Oh, what happened? I want to go into here, damn it. Let's do this again. It's not going into it second time. That's a bit strange. Okay, let's remove this redirect from here, from the top. That's strange. Why isn't it... it's not executing my callback function. The redirect is here. It should go to... Well, it should stay in the login page and then process it here first of all. It's a bit strange. Why isn't it going to my handle callback function here? Also, I need it to go here as well, so we can do both of these things. Okay. Looks good. The URL looks good. I get the feeling that it's losing context when it switches between Keycloak and this application. I mean, the browser debugger is. Maybe it's just getting blocked. Let's do this again. Let's clean this console. It's been annoying. The console always stays. All right, so we do have a problem here. Invalid refresh token. Yeah, I still don't care about that, but I just want to know if it's coming back with the right. All right, let me clear this. Do this again from beginning. Something wrong along the path, the handshake, OAuth handshake. All right. So the payload is good from the Keycloak callback. So Keycloak config. All right. So let's clear this now. All right. Let's see if we get better results now. And what about the backend logs? Yeah. I need a log or debug or something in this method here so I can see what's happening here. So it's not calling this callback for whatever reason. This is called when it comes back from the authentication process, the first one from the login page. So it does this, it comes back. This is where we say go to the callback. And then the callback should be handled here. And that should then initiate this. So putting a breakpoint here should allow us to capture this. Should I start? Let me see if I can start the front end with a debugger. Maybe that one's going to work. So they have the Python here, debug front end here. Let's see if that one works. What the hell? Privacy? What? You got a privacy message from Cursor, from the debugger? That's the first one. Was my settings up? Privacy. I don't know why Cursor needs more privacy. That's a bit strange. Let's run this again. So both of these debuggers have problems. Why isn't it starting now? Come on, LangFlow. Both of the debugger launchers have issues. That is annoying, man. Annoying. Yeah, it's not starting. Okay. Still don't know what the privacy message I got from the Mac about cursor, trying to open something. I guess, hold on. It should, let me open up the privacy menu here from settings here. So in privacy, let's see. I think it was just asking about folder access. Yeah, the message is not here anymore. I'll leave it on the screen just to see if it comes up again. Okay, so this is also not working. Thank you, LangFlow. What is the problem here? So if I kick off this one here, what does this do? Okay, so that one should just run the application. What about this one here? Right, so we can attach a debugger here if you want to. I'm gonna try this in a second, attaching a debugger, but the front end is just being annoying. How about this one, debug CLI, launch, front end, blah, blah, blah. Let me try this one here. That one is slightly different. Okay. Yeah, close this one. We don't want to run this one. We do want to run this one here. But it's not starting. I don't even know why it's not starting. There's no errors. There's nothing. Come on, LangFlow, give me something. Let me know. Give me an error message or anything. Let's look at this. Start Chrome. Sure. Launch URL. Fine. Web root. It is the React application root. And that should be it. And it's still not. Very annoying, LangFlow. Very annoying. Okay, let's close this. Now let me see if I can attach a debugger to. Right. Okay. So yeah. So I'll do that in a second. Next time when I start the debugger, I'm gonna add. What can I do here? Actually, I can't do much right now here with this. Oh boy. All right. Let's have a look at the Keycloak configuration, see if that URL is correct. Where's my Keycloak? Okay, so that's the callback, Keycloak, callback. Yep. So when you come back from the authentication login page, you should go there. And then that should trigger the token process. So, but it's not doing that, is it? Let's look at some of the events here. See if there's any authentication issues for this specific client. And so we just logged in and we can see the redirect URI. It was me, yeah. So there's no errors here. So it is logging in. It's just when it does the callback, it's just not doing correct thing. What about admin errors? Not just me changing stuff. Okay. So login is working. That's good. What about here? And it's coming. The response type is code, so it should return the code for me. And that's the user. That's me. Right. So there's no bad events. So the only thing here is wrong is with the React application right now, which would be nice if we can debug, but the debugger's not running. Sweet. All right, so both the debuggers are not working. The front end and the back end. We're gonna have to create our own launcher a little bit later. Right now, we'll just do things with some logs here. All right, so the expectation here is that it runs this handle Keycloak callback, and when it does, it goes and grabs the token. But we don't see it's not getting to a token, so something's happening here that is messing with it. So it would be nice if I can put a breakpoint right there, which I have here, just to see if there's any errors happening there. Why does the server always take so long to restart? What's happening with these servers? You know what? We should also need some outputs here for the React application for Vite. It's just to see what the hell is taking so long. I'm assuming the compilation process is very slow. But even after that, it just seems to get stuck waiting for the server. It's kind of strange. Let me see if I can open it up again. There's a snowplow. Hello, Mr. Plow. Welcome to Canada. It dumped so much snow on my driveway. Oh my God. We call it a heart attack in Canada. Thank you, Mr. Snowplow. Appreciate it. All right, so it should stop in a breakpoint here. I'll just put it everywhere. So in the error here. Okay, let's see what happens. It's coming back and doing the same thing again. Grabbing the payload second time, sure. But it's not running the handle callback here. Why isn't it called? Okay. Let's look at the route. Where's the router? Let's just see if that's a routing issue. So we have this route here, Keycloak callback. Let me put a breakpoint here, see if it's actually running this user effect. So this is in pages, Keycloak callback. Pages, Keycloak callback. Something is messed up here. It should not be. It should be going to the callback. Should be redirected back to the callback, Keycloak callback path. Oh boy, it's a bit messed up. Yeah, that's the path. I don't see any issues with the router. The router seems okay. Do we make a spelling mistake in the client configuration? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, there's definitely a problem here. It should be going to a different route. It should not be coming back to login page. This use effect here doesn't need to get executed second time. What we need to get executed is this and the Keycloak callback and this RESTful endpoint. That's what we need to hit right now, and it doesn't seem to be happening. I wonder why. I don't see a problem here. Right, the API is giving me an error because the token is still not there. But there should be here something before we get the token. We need to call the login backend with the right token. So there's something messed up here, which I don't see. Do we need to protect this route as well? Right, no, because it's not authenticated yet, right? So is authenticated is not set yet till the login happens. So this is not protected page. We need to protect things right after we log in. But the callback is, well, it's after the login page. So it should be protected, but we don't set the authenticated at that point yet, right? We set it actually when we call the login. function, which we call in the callback. So yeah, so it doesn't need to be protected. So that seems to be correct. The path is right. The element's right. It doesn't have to be protected. It goes to this specific React component here. And then there's the handle callback. So it should be calling this here. Is loading. So maybe is loading is not set. Where's is loading coming from? Is loading is also from here. Let's see if is loading is, what does it say? Is loading. Just use state equals to true. I mean, we can force it just to, for shits and giggles here. Just, well, no, because if it's loading, if it's not loading, then we need to call it, right? If it's loading, then, you know what? Let me just remove this. I just want to cause some mayhem here for a second here. I want to see if I can force a worse error. Where's the debug now? Yeah, it's not gonna run. Something is completely messed up here, and let's just put this back. That's fine. Its loading is good. Routes are fine as well, so we can close this. So the only thing that's messed up is something here. The redirect seems to be okay. We are getting the code. I do wonder if it has to be protected because it's not even going there. So let me see where the is authenticated is being set. Let's go back to the router just to double check if we need to have protected. We need to protect this route. So protected login route. Is authenticated here. So it is false, but the authenticator has to be true. And is authenticated should be set during the login. I'll set authenticated. Where is that code? Hold on, let me have a look. Where's that set? Okay. Right. So when you log out, it's set to false. It's set to true. Where is it actually set to true? Here, when you actually call the login function, right? So the login function is called after. So it should not be protected. So, okay, so we can go there. So we should be able to go to that route and inspect it. So we should be able to go to this component. It's loading. Okay, let's have a look. So if I go to Keycloak callback route, I want to see if I'm getting an error somewhere. Let's clear the console. It went back to the login page right away. Why is that? Let's have a look. So if it's not loading, but we do get the loading from OAuth, let's see what the loading is. Here, it's set to false when we're doing this. So you know what? I'm just gonna remove this just for testing purposes, just to comment this out. Okay. All right, it's calling this use effect here because it's loading this this component here, this constant. So it just runs it. But right after that, we still yeah, but so it's already doing the redirect. Where did actually the redirect come from? It's not even getting to this route. It's a bit strange. Right, it goes to login right away. And this is probably because of the other routes that we have that are protected. Yeah. Let's clear this. Let's clear the networking. I want to preserve this. Okay, so if I go back now into Keycloak. Right. Okay. So it's going here because of the auto login, all the other stuff. So it's forcing it to go to a login page. Okay. Looks like we have to tweak some of these RESTful APIs here that are being called. So it looks like it's redirecting to the login page every time we hit one of these endpoints here because you're not authorized to access it. So let's see where this API refresh is being called from. Let's see if we can pause it during a login page. Login flow. So just undo these changes here. And there's lots of things executing at the same time as the login page. And because they all require a token, it causes a bit of an issue. So when we go back to the callback, it is executing other RESTful API endpoints which don't have a token yet. So now that means that they're not authenticated and it kicks you back to login page. So it doesn't allow it to go through usual through a login page workflow. So when we come back, instead of executing the callback, it goes back to the login page. So we have to suppress some of these login calls, this API calls during login. Now this will be easier done on the back end, but we need to do this on the front end. Right. So it's calling refresh, it's calling all at the same time. Where's it calling refresh from? First of all, so that should be capital here. So it's calling refresh access token just right away. Why would it be calling refresh token right away? Seems like the first thing it does, it calls all force refresh true, and then right after that it calls. All could be at the same time. Happens so instantaneously. Okay. So we need to find where this force refresh true. Why is this even being called? So force refresh true. So force underscore refresh equals true. Where's that coming from? All right. So this one here is causing problems. Looks like. So wait, one is getting the 401, the other one's getting 403, right? So this is getting the 403 forbidden, and this is the 401 authorized. Okay, so both of them need the authentication to be done. In our case, we need to wait for the Keycloak callback to be done before we call refresh here. So what is this refresh doing here? What is this for? What are we doing here? Use get types. What is this for? You know what, let me put a breakpoint here so then I can confirm to myself that this is actually happening. So if I put this to the side and just refresh everything, just going to remove the other breakpoints that I had already in the login, except for one. So just remove all the breakpoints except for the one here and these ones. All right. Well, I'll leave this one here because just in case it hits. All right. So, and the next thing is this should be coming from, where's this file? Controllers API queries flow. Controllers API queries flows. And that one is, what's the name of the file? Get types. Use get type. Okay. Use get type. This one here. All right. So why is this being called? Okay. So now, yeah, let's just end this. All right. Let's kick this off again. So let's go to the root of the application and see what the flow is. All right. So it's called right away when the application starts. Now, this requires a token because it's an API call. So this should right away force you to go to login page. So let me step over this. Response data is what? Let's look at the response. Response is undefined. All right, so we have no response. The data is undefined. Okay. So really, it should come in here. Well, not necessarily. It doesn't seem to be an error. It just there's no response. Okay, fair enough. So let's run this through. So, all right. So now, if I go single sign-on, get the Keycloak going, comes back. Right. When it comes back, first thing it does, it goes here. Tries to force refresh again. See if there's response now. Still no response. I do want to see the response. Is the response complete? Yeah, the response is undefined. It'd be nice if the response was there. Okay. So where's the error coming from? Oh, the error is probably in the backend. Let's see the networking. Right. Why do we need to call force refresh? Well, let's look at this API on the backend. So let's see what it does. It just all, so it's API v1 all and force refresh. Let's see what it is on the backend. Why do we need to call it in the front end during a login? And let's see, v, where is this defined? So we have v1, maybe it's here. Let's do a search. So it should be /all. Okay. What is this for? Get and catch all types dictionary. What is this for? Global variable. That's never nice to see a global variable. So I have a global dictionary, global cache. What the hell is this for? Building link chain types dictionaries. This is for link chain. Okay. What the bloody hell is this for? Okay, so this is for custom components and other components, but we don't need this during login. This doesn't need to be executing during login. And once you log in, you can get those components. So I think we need to disable this because why do we need to call this endpoint? Let's look at the test here. If it's Yeah, none of this stuff is useful right before login. This is all happens after you log in. This to me seems like a bug. Let's look at get current active users. Let's see what happens here. So, right, so we get 401 if the user is not active. Okay, so what is active user? Get current user. So it gets it from the token, right? But there's no token yet, right? So this doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be executing. All right, let's see if we can block this because there's no need for this to be executed. And, I think this might be messing up the flow of the login page. So going back to the front end now. Let me look at the routes here for a second here. And which... All right, let's see where this is being called in the front end so we can suppress this. So this is part of what? Just queries. And these queries, when are these executed? So let's look for, let's see, where would this be? Let's see if we can find this just by the component, if it's part of any of these React components here. So here, it's included in app initiate page. Okay, so all right, that's at the start of the page. Here, I think that's where the problem is here. We're getting the types right here, but the types require for the user to be logged in. And it happens right in app init page. Okay, let's look at the router. Where is this in terms of a router? So that's the root element here on the router. So yeah, that's a problem. So for whatever reason, when they initiate the page, they load the types, but the types require token. And you're not going to have a token until you actually get to the login page. So why do they have it here? Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. Why do we need to call it an initiate page? It's just because when you don't have a login page, there's just assumption made here when you do an auto login that you can do this anywhere because there's no login. And here's the login page overlay. Okay, loading page overlay. So when they load it initially, when the application starts with a spinner, that's why they do it. But then when it comes back from Keycloak, it's executed again. And then it goes to the login page, right? We need to make the login page the root of the application. So you go to the login page, you don't do anything before the login page. Let me look at the router. Like there's just some assumptions made here. There's all the stuff that happens here on the main route here when the application initiates. But then some of these paths are protected, but the initiation process assumes that, like these ones here, the sign-up is protected, login is protected here. So we should go to the login page first. It's weird that they just assume that login page is, by default disabled, and you just initiate the application. So there's a bit of a design issue here with LangFlow. I think if they make the default the login page, the developers would probably see some of these problems right away. And you can see it right away when the application starts. So right away, let's just clear this. The network and the console. So when we go to the root of the application, just at the beginning, that's where the app init gets executed on the React. Yeah. So right away, this just executes, right? So auto login, bad request, and the next thing is it's still spinning, as you can see, right? So the application is initializing, and it's calling RESTful API endpoints that require a token that only comes after login page, right? So that's a bit of a problem. I guess when you make the assumption there is no login page, you do auto login, then the auto login is going to come back with something. So let me look at the auto login here quickly to see if we can maybe use it to hack it somehow. So this is from use auto login. Let's see. Where is the auto login? Here, there's auto login right here. Right. So the auto login comes back with stuff with a token here already, right? So this is where they made kind of maybe logical error, because you have an auto login comes back with the token, and then you can just continue, and it can call this in the app init. But what if you don't have we don't do auto login when you have a login page, right? Then this is not going to be there. So they're making all these assumptions here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable auto login right in the app init, because there's just no need for it, even though here they should have a wrapper here or something here where it disables it. Let me see if actually there's one to disable it in app init. Oh, just auto login. Where is it? Here. So this and these two things, this should not be here. If we make an assumption that they crash and they forward you to a login page, this is going to happen also when you do a callback, come back from Keycloak, because that's a single page application. It's going to restart the application, and it's not going to go to the route, because it's going to execute this again and kick you out, right? So it's a broken flow because of app initiation. So we can probably deal with keep the auto login here and just leave it, but this has to be changed. So what if Same thing is depending on this as well. Let me see. Right. Global variables. Everything is loaded because of these types, but the get types is still not available because you don't have the token, the JWT token. That's messed up, right? All right, so there's some fundamental issues just in LangFlow, how it was created. So we have to do a little bit more surgery here, because every time we refresh the application, which is going to happen when we come back from Keycloak, it's going to rerun this, and this is going to crash. Oh, it's going to throw an error. Then that's going to redirect you to a login page. So even though we want to go to the callback page, so we can initiate a callback, we're going to have a problem here. And I think this happens because the assumption was made to have auto login, and that's how people code it, right? And the login is just kind of afterthought, probably enable it just for testing. But usually when they develop the application, they really focus on the business features. They don't deal with pesky security, right? So they disable by enabling auto login, and then auto login gives you the token, and this just works for you, right? Oh boy. Yeah, so that's a problem. Yeah, auto login, bad request. It shouldn't even be bad request. Like, why are they making this a bad request? It says to false, right? Message, auto login is disabled. Please enable it in the settings. No, I want to disable it, and this is not a bad request. This is just the choice we're making, right? So this should be silent, where auto login is enabled is set to false because then the login page comes in, right? So even though this request payload is incorrect in my view, because why would you throw 400 error, business error, if the business rules I want to follow is login false, so go to login page, and then right after that, right, it calls this to get the types to bootstrap the application, but it's going to fail because it doesn't have the token, right? And when we come back from a single sign-on, refresh the application again, well, the same thing happens, right? This is forbidden, so it goes to a login page, right? Oh boy, so that's a problem. It looks like security is always something people think after when they develop the application, because the business rule is always primary, right? And you always get into this trouble where security is just not fully baked in or incorrectly baked in, like in this case. I just don't want to do major surgery on this. I was hoping to be, nice, easy surgery with the scalpel, come in, just add the single sign-on and leave. But now we see the flow is a bit of a broken. We just have to delay things, right? So we need to go and delay what happens in the app init. So app init page here, which is the first thing that kicks off on the router. So we need to be able to delay. So the initiation process should happen after the login page, right? So if I can just remove these things, I'll move it over. So I would probably, like, even the auto login, I just don't care about this. I mean, you should never have this for any production reasons, obviously. Or any reasons, you should always have a login page or be able to log in. So I probably would just disable this. And then if this is disabled, then I can just grab all of this here, just up to here, all this, and then put it in the login page. So after the login, in the callback page, right? So when you come back, they can initiate this, because the app initiation is doing too much work. Right? It should not be doing so much work, right? It should be just getting the React application ready to go so you can start executing business rules, and these business rules should come after the login page, right? Not during the app initiation page. Let's see if we can maybe bastardize this a bit. So let's go through a happy path here. So the happy path would be that we get the this auto login here. So let's just see this. So yeah, let's look at the auto login. Let's look at the URL here. Where is this URL? Just want to walk this through one big happy path, and then we can see if you can hack this. So it says underscore auto login. Okay, sure. So this just gets get URL underscore auto login from the API. So let's see if you can find this in the backend now, this RESTful endpoint. Here's the RESTful endpoint for auto login. So what happens here? Let's assume it's enabled. If it's enabled, what happens? So let's say this is true. It gets the user here and it responds with this token here. So yeah, it's going to come back with the token, right, in the app init. So we're going to have tokens. You know what? Let's see if we can capture this token. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and stop my backend right now, and I'm going to enable auto login property here in my env file. So let's just go back and, well, actually it's done with the make, so I can just do on the make. So auto login is actually here. So I can just start it with true. Okay. There you go, starts with true. So now if I go back and start the front end, all right, let's see if we can capture the token. So let's see, this is running. Okay. I'm just going to stop the debugger because I don't care. Right now, I'm just going to go to the root of the application and right. So get types now. Let's see if it comes back with anything. Right. Just going to remove this. Okay. Let's look at the networking tab and see here, auto login worked this time. So now you see there's a freaking access token right there. So yeah, it's a bit painful, but LangFlow they messed up, right? They messed up how they assume the application should work with security and without security. So probably that's what they do day to day. They set this to auto login to true. So it auto logs in for them, so you can just continue working on the business features, and they ignore the the login page. And that's a bad thing because you're creating a culture where people don't think about security; they just bypass it for development, right? So if you have security issues, then you don't see them. Let's look at this token. GWT. Let's see if we can see what's in there. Right. So this is the token. Okay. Let's see if we can match this with the backend code. Which user ID is here? Right, so LangFlow. So they use the default user to log in by default. That's a problem. That should never be done. So login is enable auto login. they look at the database, they get the LangFlow default user, for the user they create a token, they return the token in app initiation, and then it just continues from there. So this assumption is what breaks the other login flows, because first of all, when this is disabled, they should not be returning this message. It's just dumb, right? Why would you return it's a business error? It should just be silent, right? There should be nothing here. So in fact, I'm just going to remove this right now because I think that is just incorrect. This is not a business exception where you don't enable auto login because the default business flow should be auto login disabled, not enabled. You can enable it for development. Okay, so here let's just tweak this. So where's the if statement here? If it's false, don't raise an exception. Just this is silent, so this is gone. Okay. Missing an express return, so it's going to return. What do you want to return here? I just want to silence this. What's the best way of silencing this? This is expecting some response here, JSON response. Let me grab the response from the exception. No, I can't. No. That's just so ugly. Okay, so I'm just going to return just an empty JSON object. Okay. All right, so that is that. I should not hear from this thing again. So now the next thing is, let's go back now and we start the backend with what I'm saying is should be the default flow. Come on. Come on, just die. What's wrong with you? Just Control C, come on. What happened here? So this should be always set to false by default. All right. So now we should have less of an error in. Let's restart the front end. Okay. I'm going to clean up this LangFlow code because we have to. All right. So now let's clean up everything and just restart this. So we should go to the login page right now, but we should see one less error, which complains about the auto login. Next thing is to, we're good here. We're good here, okay. All right. So still doing the force refresh. So that we're going to remove in a second. There we go. It went to login page. Okay, sweet. And if I look at the console, there should be one less issue here. Right. What is this? Interesting. Let's refresh this again. All right, so that message about auto login is gone. Now let's just deal with this force refresh. That should happen only once the login is done. So let's recode that app init. So it's going to be a bigger change than originally expected, I suppose. Anyways, so that's done. We don't care about auto login ever again. Hopefully it's not going to come up. Next thing is app init. Yeah, sometimes when you look at the big code bases, you're going to have to do a little bit more surgery once you learn how things work than usual. Because during a regular development cycle, developers just follow kind of basic happy path always, right? And they don't really go through a process of pain of security or things like that, because it's just not something that you care during your functional requirements development. So, I mean, just focus on the functional requirements. You disable on the non-functional requirements you can, just to get to the functional requirements, right? Your business rules. And this is what happens here. So this app init page here, so we want to keep it, so not change it, but we want to remove those get types, and that should be put in, maybe put it here, app wrapper page, maybe. What's a good place here? Let me collapse some of these things. Authenticated pages here. Then we have login pages. Where else? Sign up. Maybe we can put it here in the app wrapper page here. Maybe that's a better place to have it. Yeah, maybe. That's a maybe. Okay. I think I would like to have it in login page, right? Because if it's in a login page, then the login page is really your initiation page, because you initiate things after you log in, right? So after you go through the handshake, you sign in, and you get your login here on success. This is where you can kind of start initiating things, right? And the same thing can happen then in the Keycloak. You can, in the callback function, in the hook, we can initiate the page right after login here, right? Yeah, like you set the login properties here, the token, and then once you have it, then you can initiate things, right? Because then you have the token to do the work. To me, that only makes sense. Log in and then initiate the rest of the application, right? So let's see if we can do some surgery here. Oh boy. So app init. I'm just going to close some of these things here so it's less confusion for myself right now. So we're just going to focus purely on the front end here. Okay, kill all the Python code for now. Python doesn't exist. So the goal here is to change the app init. So we already made this irrelevant because it's a non-issue. Now the problem here is that they're waiting for this fetch to happen so you can get the token from auto login. So this, all this and this. What about here? Refresh starts. Where's this? Refresh starts. All right, I'm just going to move this one by one. So the one that's causing the most trouble right now is this call, but then this output is used. Where is this used? Fetch is type. Okay, so is get types used anywhere else? Yeah, it's used here. Okay. So because it's used here, I'm gonna have to grab everything from here. So I want to get everything here from the types loaded here. So I'm gonna grab it. Let me just comment this out here quickly. So toggle this off right now, just like that. This should break the application, but it should give me a better response in terms of the error messages. Yeah. Yeah, it did break the application, obviously, big time, right? Right. All right, going back, let's see what we can do here. Something that, let's see what is required here. Example fetch, we don't care about example fetch right now, and we don't care about the types being loaded. Okay, so this is gone. All right. And this is gone as well. Okay, just to make things happy. Where else? All right, so that's less angry. And in fact, it starts much faster, the initiation now, because it's not loading all the stuff right before the login page. What is this? Chrome extension file not found. What is this? Okay, let's see if... See, suddenly, the Keycloak process is working, right? Right, so see, the loading here is... All right. And then we have here handle back. Okay, cool. So, and then we can see it's going to grab the Keycloak token, right? All right, it failed. Okay, cool. All right, sweet. So at least we know the problem is not with our code, it's the app initiation logic that LangFlow has. It's incorrect. To be frank, it's wrong. There's no other way around it, especially for production systems. You should not be loading things in your app initiation that require, credentials. That's just wrong. So if LangFlow people are listening, it's wrong. Okay. In fact, I'm so angry. Let's do a tweet about this. Because we should be tweeting, right? While we do these things, I suppose. What can we tweet? We should tweet on our profile here. Okay. Okay. All right, let's have a peek at our backend logs here. There you go. So now it's hitting the the Keycloak refresh router, which you shouldn't be. All right, now we can see the bugs in our code because it's actually getting hit. Process Keycloak login takes. Okay, so first of all, we messed up with the parameters. Okay, that's the first thing. Thank you, Linter. You suck. All right. So before we go too far, we still have to fix this app init issue. So because we still have to load these assets, but we have to load them after. So all this stuff that happens here, that needs to be now moved to a place where it's right after the login. So, and we have two places. We have the login page. We have a single sign-on. So we should find a common place to do it for both, for the login page, for the regular flow, and for the single sign-on flow. Yeah. So this is definitely incorrect. Now I'm going to put this in the login page first here. So on success, we should have it here, right? This is the place where things should happen. Once you log in, you have your token, Bob's your uncle. Now you can get this kick of this RESTful API here. Now at the same time, I need to have it in my hook, Keycloak Hook right here, when it needs to happen here. So we do need to follow a bit of a dry principle here. So I don't want to replicate in multiple places. So let's just put both things on the screen. Dry gets a bad rap. You know, sometimes you need to be dry. Sometimes you need to go dry. Wow, I drink my fluids. All right. So what is a good place to put this in? What's a good service here? We can probably put this in the OAuth service. Maybe an OAuth context? No, that's not the right place. I don't want to create a new file for this. So what is a good place to have these common things here? Now, OAuth context seems like a reasonable place to put it. Maybe I should just create a new one here, new service to process things right after login. I don't want this to be a hook. So now this APIs, so we need to call these APIs somewhere. Not in customization, not in maybe helpers. What are these helpers for? No. Maybe I put it in hooks as well. It's not part of a page since I'm using it in multiple pages right now. So what about in stores? Nope, stores is not the right place either. Styles, no. Types, no. Maybe just in utilities here. What about shared? What is a good place to put this in? Well, let's have a look at this first in the login page. So let's see if we can get this working here in the login page. So you know what? Let's do that first, okay? Let's take the happy path approach. Let me uncomment this one here. So I'm going to, yeah, and then get the app init. Let's put it on this side. So let's just make this work before we start with factoring stuff. So first thing that we need is imports. These imports here. I should want to comment out as well. Let's toggle the line comments here. All right, still this imports. All right. So let's see how this looks on a success. So once you're successful, except for this thing here, this is not really used anywhere. Is example fetched? Who cares? Do we need to care about the example? Like, why do I care if the example has been loaded? As long as you... Right, it was used just here to see if the fetch is true or not. Okay. All right, so we don't need that. It feels like the wrong place to have this at all. Okay, so these examples. Okay, so I don't need to return anything from this one here as long as this is done. So same here. So this is just going to be like this. All right. And is fetched here. This is what comes from here, from the auto login. So this one is fetched. This is going to be true because we're logged in. So true. Enabled equals is fetched true. Where else? Okay. So let's make an assumption that we're going to log in right now with our credentials. Okay. Just remove all these breakpoints here. Don't care about these breakpoints. All right. This one here we can actually remove. Now this one I'm going to keep around just so I know when it's actually calling the force refresh. Okay. All right, let's have a look at the default password that's set. So we know what the password is. So here on the back end, we can look up, where's the login here? And let's look at the default password used here. Username, where is there a password here? Where's the password? So it's LangFlow. Okay. All right, so let's log in here with LangFlow, and see what happens. All right. All right, let's clean this up and log out and log back in and see. Let's clear this up. All right. So now let's see if we can log in again. And let's see if the refresh one has been called. So let's make this a little bigger. So this seems to be working. So that wasn't a huge change we had to do to the LangFlow code base. Here. Nope, that's not the one I want. I want all. Where's all? Let me see in the console. Just Chrome extensions, don't care about that. Okay. So let's just verify that we have everything here. Right, we don't care about that. It seems to be working. All right. So we need to do the same thing now for Keycloak, so we can get the same effect. All right. Let me put a breakpoint there. I want to see if it's actually calling the on success, if it's actually calling the things it should be calling. So looking at the login page again. So under pages, Pages, where's pages? Let's close the flows. Hooks, pages here. All right, so this is the new code that we added here. So this is moved from the app init component into the login component. So if I log in again with LangFlow, all right, let's see. I'm just going to clear the networking here and just double check that it's pulling all the stuff I wanted to pull. So getting types, let's step into this. Right, so the request interceptor right away go and gets this. This is in services, okay. Just gotta remember this because I'll put a breakpoint here later for Keycloak as well. So, all right, so it did grab the things for me. Now, it did not call the for a ref. Hold on a second. And let's clear this again. Let's log out and just do another login session just to make sure. So we just need to make sure that it's loading everything in this workflow, and then we can jump to Keycloak, the single sign-on version. Let's close this console. It keeps opening up. Okay, so let's just step into this one again. So I want to see why it's not getting into here. What's the hell is wrong with this? Here, it's supposed to grab it from here, right? Why isn't my breakpoint not working right now? What's your problem? What's your problem, Chrome? Well, that was fast. That was too fast. Hold on, let's close this. Oh boy, Mr. Chrome, what is your problem? All right, let's do this again. I did not want to go here. Why are you going here? Why is the interceptor here kicking off if I want to just step over the piece of code? All right. Let's get back here. I do want to put a breakpoint here if it's possible. Why is it not allowing me to do that? There we go. Finally. Jeez. All right. Okay, let's step over this. right away it's going for who am I to get the user. Okay, fine, fair enough. Let's run this through. All right. Looks like we're good. So we just need to find a common place to run it. Put this somewhere. Just gonna put this. I want to put it right here. It's not calling to. Let's refresh Chrome. Looks like there might be a bug, something stopping that request going through. Just close all this. It's a bit annoying that it just goes to request interceptor and stops there. Yeah, there's something wrong here. The get types. I think the problem is with the is loading stuff. Let me just double check that. We might have to change that part. Interesting they have it here as well. So maybe we don't need it at all, the app in it, because it looks to me like they're getting the folders and the tags here. This is in use post login. So let's have a look at that. So if they already have it, then what we might just delete this. So commenting things out from app in it and not even care about it because they already. So this is where's this? This is in. Where's this? It's in OAuth, right? So use post login user. Okay. So if you look at OAuth, let's close the back in here. For the front end, where is this? Where's this file? This file is an API OAuth, okay. So let's have a look at API. What? Services? No, what the? Sorry. Oh, yeah. So is the wrong API? Okay, wow. Here. Post login here. What is this? So this one is getting the folders and the tags. And we try to get the folders and the tags here as well when the app initiates. And we also try to get the example. But at the same time, we also try to get the types as well. So if this is getting grabbed right in the post login, so we should just add it here. Yeah. So this is when the login function executes. And right after that, when it's done, we do the use mutation results here, and then we call these two things here. Okay. So I think we should also we don't need to have the get tags here because I think it's the same thing. Hold on, let me just double check this. Let's move this to the side and just if this already happens, then maybe just need to delete stuff from up in it, and then we're good to go. So let's look at the login page. Okay, so in here we're getting the types, and once we have the types, we get the global variables, tags, and folders. These guys get the folders here and get the tags. Oh, refetch the queries. Okay, what's the query client? Right. And the request processor here is okay. So it looks like we're just need to delete. Well, get types doesn't really matter. Now in get types, looking at get types again. Refresh true get types. And this only happens when here. So we get types, but then we also get the folders and tags here. Okay, that's a bit inconsistent. Yeah, boy. You know what? I'm just going to comment this out and assume that we don't need to do refresh true here for all, because we're just going to grab everything on post login here. And if we're missing something, I'll just come back and add more here. And right now on the login page, we are getting what? Getting the types, the global variables. So the only thing here, the global variables, I don't see that. That's the thing that is picked up. So, let me leave the, types. Is this just true? False? What is this? Get types is, what's the return here? Query results. What's the query results here? Let's just double check this in the backend, because if this just returns true false, then we just don't need that. So going back to backend right now quickly, let's look at the backend REST API, where we actually grab the login. Where's the REST API here? Here. Here, the endpoints. So we are calling all. And depends on current active user. Okay, you know what? So let's remove this from a login page. And here, so login page. Where's my login page? So okay, so anyways, I'm gonna get rid of this here, and I'm just gonna comment this out in login page. And if there's a problem, we just put it in the use post login user here. So it's all for the user. So here, I'm just gonna comment this out like this. Comment out. All right, now let's log in and see if we have the global variables and we have the everything else here, the folders, the basic example. Let's just see. All right, let's log out. Okay, let's refresh this just in case. All right, so we're going LangFlow using the default user. Did I misspell LangFlow? LangFlow. All right, we don't care about this breakpoints right now. Not now. Okay. So first test, we gotta see if you have global variables here. Let's go to settings. Right. So it looks like we have all the basic stuff without actually needing it to load. So if I go to new flow, and now let's just say, let's do an agent. No templates found. Okay. What about RAG? All right. So it looks like that is not there. Okay. So we just need to get that going. All right. So let's log out. So we're going to load this again in post login. So in here, where do you get the folders and tags? We need to get, you know what? Let's run. I want to look at this for a second here. Let's comment this out. I'm just going to do this for now, just to hack it for a little bit, just to hard code it. All right, let's see what happens. Right. Right. They're not loaded. Okay, so we gotta load them. Even the basic examples not loading. Okay. All right. Let's log out. Let me think. All right, so we have to fiddle with this here to make this work. We have to log in. Oh, we need to put it here on the mutation results here, and add another query here. So, this is a good place to put it in here. So this login function here, once executed, comes back here on success with the data. And is the mutation called before or after? Let me just double check that. I just want to get an understanding if it's if we need to put it before or after. Just gonna do a little debug session here again. So for all right. All right. Actually, just put also a breakpoint in our login page as well. So here, and I want one here, just in case. Okay. So we're just gonna verify the flow. It's just a happy path first, and then we can start changing it. Okay. So by the way, it goes to login user function. Let me look at the stack, call stack here. So, right. So it went from here, the login page, sign in is clicked. And right away it goes here. Let me just, there's something I'm missing here on submit, sign in. And the mutate is, where's that coming from? Here, login user, okay. All right, so this is running. It's doing its business. It's come back with the data, which is the tokens. Sure, we're good. We have the tokens. Go back, and there we go. That's what it's called. Okay, so here it's getting called already. So it's fetching the folders and the tags. Now, yep. And then it comes back, goes to the interceptor. All right. And if I run this, then it comes back to unsuccess. Okay. So at this point, it already executed the post login. So we need to put it there pretty much, right? So when it executes the login here, user. So this is where we need to put it, not where we already have the unsuccess, the data here, which is the token. So, and this one here is just not running, right? Let me just step over this. Right. It's running the mutation again. Okay. So let's put everything in a post login here. So this is what's going to be a common place. We're going to load all the assets. The assumptions is always that we're going to have a login page, always. We're never going to run without a login page. Yeah, we should put it here. Oh boy, I think it's time for lunch. At least we know what the problem is and know how to fix it. The only problem we're going to have is that this mutate is called only for the login for this form. Now we also have Keycloak, right? So I do want to have a place where I can call all this. I think I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'll put it in both places. I'll put it here on the mutation, and then, sorry, I'll wrap this in a function, and I'll put it into this file. So I know it's post login. So I have it here. What to call after you log in. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. And then, yeah, I think that's the best. You know what? I'm going to end it here. But I think we have a path forward. We just got to fiddle with the login flow here. At least we know what the problem is. And it seems to fix the Keycloak issues and also, well, also made it a little bit more secure since we're not making RESTful calls in the app init to get resources that require authentication. All right. It's time to eat. We'll be back later today.